CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
We begin with a live look outside right now. While some of us are seeing sunshine, there are some clouds out there, even some heavy showers in some spots like here in Doral. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera joins us now with the breakdown, Ivan.
The free car wash, we like it. And it's been a while since we've had heavy enough rain to be able to do that, right? It's not widespread, as we talked about yesterday, coverage 20 to 30%. So that's working out, except for the 20 to 30% areas. We have had some tropical downpours here that have continued, and the slow movement of these cells has propagated some nice accumulation. We are in a drought here, so we need any kind of rain we can get, and we're getting it big time there through Sweetwater. This particular cell just kind of traveled slowly from Doral, points to the south, and then this one was over the bay and now off the waters there off the beach. And then we got one more down towards the Homestead, one more currently, but Next Weather rain trackers picking up on additional rainfall as we head through the remainder of this evening with some of the boundaries that are set up, kind of like a little mini wet season day that we need and we haven't had in so long as far as accumulating rainfall. We're zero at the airport. No longer. That is going to change as we head through later on this evening. Temperatures are staying in the 70s because of the cloud cover and the showers around. Once you get that set up here, heading into late this evening, that's going to be the issue. Visibility and some patchy, dense fog. We'll likely get a dense fog advisory in the morning for some of our areas here. So we'll keep you posted on that through the morning. So the boundary today came back. Yesterday brought us dry air. Today it brought us some showers. It'll continue lifting up to the north tomorrow as a warm front. So tomorrow's high temperatures in the mid-80s, and we could be rivaling record highs. It'll feel even warmer because of the humidity. It's all part of this complex system in the northern Gulf here, and that system is going to continue pushing off to the northeast. Look at the band of very heavy rainfall. Sometimes that can make it to South Florida. Not this time, though. Watch what happens as we put that into motion. It just disappears, and I'll show you a close-up there on Next Weather rain tracker. But the big story with this feature is going to be the front coming in and the much cooler temperatures we're going to set up for Friday morning. Wake up dressing very differently than we have the entire month of February. So not tonight or tomorrow morning, 70 degrees both nights, and then we drop into the 50s, widespread 50s for Friday, and it doesn't completely warm up rapidly, so we'll have some nice cool mornings heading into the weekend. This is the way it'll look on Friday morning with those upper 50s and some mid 50s inland areas there, so it's a nice refreshing change. So again, the rainfall will continue as I showed you there through the rest of the evening. Then things quiet down. We get that patchy fog in the morning. I think tomorrow's going to be a quiet day. It's just going to be very warm, breezy, and also humid as well before the frontal boundary comes in. But again, there's not much to it. We get more showers today from the east wind and the stall front than from this. But there you see the wind shifts coming in. A lot of cloud cover on Thursday, but it's Thursday night. We lose the cloud cover. The winds go due north, and that's what's going to bring in the cold air from North Florida, where they're in the 30s right now. As we check in on temperatures for the day tomorrow, we'll still make it into the low 80s next to the 7-day forecast. Takes us through the cold front and into the weekend with northeast winds 50 to 20. You can see Friday and into Saturday, both weekend days in the 70s. But Sunday, I'm monitoring a new system that could be bringing us some showers, which could linger into the early part of next week.
Ivan, thank you. And right now we continue with a safety alert to tell you about on the University of Miami campus. Police are looking for this man who they say exposed himself to a student. CBS News Miami's Najahe Sherman is at the University of Miami in Coral Gables with what we know so far.
Law enforcement says that female student was studying late Sunday night when that male walked up to her in the student center and exposed himself. Now, UN police sent out this advisory to students across campus, informing them of the incident. According to the university, the Coral Gables police are searching for the man they say walked up to the female student without clothes and touched himself inappropriately. It happened at the Shalala Student Center. I spoke with a female student who says her friends are the ones that told her about the incident.
Honestly, there's so many officers around campus that I never really thought it would be an issue, just because they're always monitoring situations and stuff. So it kind of made me a bit scared because I usually feel pretty safe around campus, even if it's 11 p.m.
Now, Coral Gables police are still investigating this case and are looking for that man. If you recognize him or students see him around campus, you are urged to contact 911 or the Police Department. In Coral Gables, Najahe Sherman, CBS News, Miami.
We're learning new and chilling details about this weekend's deadly shooting in Tamarac. A judge held Nathan Gingles without bond today. He's facing 3 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of his ex-wife, Mary Gingles, Mary's father, David Ponzer, and a neighbor. Now, we want to warn you, some of the audio you're about to hear may be disturbing. Home surveillance video captures the sound of gunfire. The moments deputies say Nathan murdered his victims, then calmly strolled the street with his 4-year-old daughter. Neighbor Andrew Farron was also killed. Farron's uncle says his nephew opened his door to help Mary as she ran over for help.
Evil overtook a very, very kind act.
According to court documents, Mary Gingles filed a restraining order against Nathan last February. Mary filed for divorce last year following multiple alleged domestic violence incidents. At a custody hearing yesterday, Nathan Gingles was ordered to not contact his daughter, who is now in state custody. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray was at the court for this hearing. Look for her report coming up on CBS News Miami at 5. And we're hearing from 2 Israeli tourists who were shot by a stranger in Miami Beach. According to police, the suspect says he did it because he thought they were Palestinian. The father and son were driving on Alton Road when they say a car pulled up in front of them and someone inside fired 17 times. Mordecai Brafman has been charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. The tourists say they're grateful to be alive. Meanwhile, the Islamic community is on edge.
Saying it doesn't matter.
It's crazy.
He's saying it doesn't matter if you're Arab, you're Jew, you're Russian, you're white, you're black. It doesn't matter. It's just crazy how a random guy can just go, assuming you're something, and just try to shoot you.
Miami Beach police are working to determine if the shooting should be considered a hate crime. New video shows the moment a Delta Airlines plane skids, catches fire, then flips over at Toronto Pearson International Airport. You're looking at video where you can see the plane on top of the tarmac, its wings and tail ripped off and landing gear pointed towards the sky. Delta Airlines says 19 of the 21 people hurt during Monday's crash landing in Toronto have been released from the hospital. Nikki Batiste has the latest from the scene.
Airport officials in Toronto say U.S. investigators have joined the Canadian team at the scene of Monday's Delta Airlines crash at Pearson International Airport.
We do expect that the investigators on site will be reviewing the aircraft on its current configuration on the runway for the next 48 hours.
Video obtained by TMZ shows the moment the jet caught fire and flipped over, leaving a trail of black smoke behind it.
Everything, drop it. Come on.
Flight crew members rushed to help passengers who were strapped in upside down, unbuckle, and escape the wreckage.
What I saw was everyone on that plane suddenly became very close in terms of how to help one another, how to console one another.
Despite the terrifying scene, officials say everyone on board survived, although there were some injuries.
Mainly stemming from back sprains, head injuries, anxiety, some headaches, nausea and vomiting due to the fuel exposure.
Officials say they will not speculate on what may have caused the crash, but aviation experts say investigators will take a close look at weather conditions.
They're going to be looking at things like wind gusts, wind shears, things like that, icing on the runways.
Airport officials say 2 storms dumped more than 20 inches of snow at the airport in the days prior to the crash, but Monday itself was a clear day. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, Toronto, Canada.
When we come back, Secretary of State Marco Rubio meets with his Russian counterpart to discuss a path to ending the war in Ukraine, what the administration says about the talks, and the response from European allies. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's Quickcast. Delegations from the U.S. and Russia are in talks in Saudi Arabia over how to end the war in Ukraine. The meeting came together quickly after President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke on the phone last week. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the details.
After more than 4 hours of talk, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. and Russia have agreed to appoint high-level teams to work on a path to end the war in Ukraine in a way that's sustainable and acceptable to all sides.
We're not going to pre-negotiate an end to this conflict.
These are the kinds of things that have to happen through hard and difficult diplomacy in closed rooms over a period of time.
Secretary Rubio was joined by Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
This needs to be a permanent end to the war and not a temporary end as we've seen in the past. We know just the practical reality is that there is going to be some discussion of territory.
The Trump administration also said the U.S. and Russia agreed to restore embassy staffing in Moscow and here in D.C.
For us to be able to continue to move down this road, we need to have diplomatic facilities that are operating and functioning normally.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he wasn't invited to Tuesday's meeting, but that his country needs to be part of the conversation about its future. European allies are concerned too and organized an emergency meeting Monday in Paris.
At stake is not just the future of Ukraine, it is an existential question for Europe as a whole. This is a once-in-a-generation moment for the collective security of our continent.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he's willing to offer British peacekeeping troops to Ukraine, but that a U.S. security commitment is the only way to ensure lasting peace. Starmer is expected to visit the White House next week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
There's so much we're working on for you this afternoon. Governor Ron DeSantis wants to ban property taxes right here in Florida. Here's a look at what's coming up, all new on CBS News Miami at 5.
Could you imagine paying little to no property taxes? Our governor seems to support it, but how would that affect the funding of schools, police, and other services?
We'll find out on that CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.